Hi there. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Beyond the Frame. I'm your host, Ryan Vanderhei, and I've learned some of my most valuable life lessons from my favorite TV shows and movies. Sure, these works of art entertain us, offer us an escape, and even tap into our emotions. But there's one E that's often overlooked.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah?
It's educational.
Great.
Viewed from a different perspective. These stories and their characters can help us to learn and develop as human beings. I am indeed your co-host, Joe Parente, and it's our mission with this podcast to share these unique perspectives with you so you can grow from the show.
The topic of today's discussion, the 2025 spy thriller Black Bag, and the relationship between lying and loyalty. As always, there will be spoilers ahead, so proceed with caution. And be sure to leave a like, rating, or review wherever it is that you listen, as it really helps the show. Shall we begin?
We shall.
Let's do it.
The answers that you're looking for are lying just beyond the frame.
It's worth noting at the top of this episode that this film was directed by Mr. Steven Soderbergh, and it is the second Soderbergh new release that we've covered in just a little over a month. Guy's having a good month.
He is so
good start
lazy.
to 2025, that guy.
He should get a job.
Yeah. This is also coming, I read 13 years after he announced his retirement.
Yeah.
So he's really
Good point.
he's really cutting
Good
back. And
This is what
enjoying-
retirement looks like.
yeah, right.
Were you going to say enjoying the golden years?
2 movies in a month, that's what retirement looks
Amazing.
like.
Yeah.
But so that's great. We did the episode on the film Presence last month. So kudos to him for delivering 2, I'll say, for me, really good films.
For me too.
In such a short span of time.
I enjoyed them both.
That guy can deliver.
Yeah.
He can.
He knows what he's doing.
He's got a knack for it.
He's on to something.
I know they have both been in development probably for some time, but still, nonetheless, impressive. And they were both written by David Koepp, who knows how to write a very tense yet very human story.
Yes.
He has proven that.
He sure has.
And it's no wonder Soderbergh keeps working with him.
He wrote both of those.
Yeah,
That is impressive.
it is. Yeah, to see the difference in the two
So
for
different.
the both of them,
Yeah. So different.
but nonetheless a fruitful collaboration.
Very.
Yeah,
Wow.
I hope to see more.
Yeah, me too.
But enough
Maybe
praise.
later this month.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they got something else
At
coming
this rate,
down the
yeah.
pipeline. But enough praise of these guys, huh? Let's
Yeah,
get to the
too
real
much.
reason why we're here, shall we?
Let's do it.
This movie, in large and part, is about 2 things that often go hand in hand: lying and loyalty. Now, I'm sure most of us would group these 2 terms together. However, I ask this question to you and our listeners, Joe.
Okay.
Do you think that you can lie to someone and still remain loyal to them? Or is lying a complete breach of loyalty? And if you want to follow that up, have you
Okay.
ever lied to someone but remained loyal to them?
I think these things are truly mutually exclusive. So I think they do stand alone, because I think from where I come from, I hear the Depeche Mode song "Policy of Truth" running through my head. Must one always tell the truth, like as a policy? And in my life, I've just found that sometimes telling a particular type of lie can be the more kind thing to do. And I'd rather be kind than truthful all the time. And so that's where I feel like these are different types of things. If you tell someone a lie about something, does that mean that you don't have their back? Does that mean that you are not committed to them? Absolutely not, to me.
Okay.
But it depends on if we're talking about the subject of infidelity or something, to me, that's different. But if we're talking
So
about...
it's situation specific.
It is situation specific to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of situation would warrant a lie that would still constitute a remaining
You
loyalty?
want me to give an example of my work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, let me know from your life a
God.
time that you've... No, but just in
trying to
general,
think
just
of-
an example of what that might look like. Like, what would be... I mean, this movie touches on it, and I think this is a reason why a lot of people lie, is to protect somebody,
Well, I think that's
to not
it.
hurt someone.
Well, and that's what I mean about being kind.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Is that doing that to
Is it
spare
like when a
their
woman says, "Does
feelings?
this dress make me look," you know?
Well, that I do my best to turn into a joke, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it
It's
doesn't.
just kind of like swerve
Yeah,
around
like,
there, like
oh, so you want to put me
or when you
in this position, do you?
when you
You
come
know?
home from getting a haircut, and you say, "Hey, babe, how's my haircut look?" And they're like, "Great, looks
Exactly,
great."
exactly. And if they can really sell that, all right.
Yeah.
Then I'm on board. She thinks I look great, and
I guess
I can live with that type of delusion.
sure, that's true. Those are harmless. It feels like it depends on the stakes too.
It really does, because if the question is just about can you lie to somebody, if you lie to them, does that mean that you're disloyal? I mean, I just think that's a little stringent.
Sure,
in
it
my
depends on
world.
the.
It really does.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And that's where, and that's the lying that we're talking about in this particular film. This is fascinating, because I'm sure you'll get to it, but there are stakes involved
Absolutely.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us don't have, I don't think, not these kinds of stakes involved.
The average person isn't dealing with these kinds of repercussions.
No, they are not.
They're
But
not
that's
facing, death on a regular basis or anything like that.
no,
Or doing
not-
intelligence work. That's a very small
it really
number
is.
of people. So
But still, I think your point is also that this is a relatable question. And it's a relatable issue.
yeah, it's very
And
human.
It is very human. And I think how they did this, I mean, you've already said that you like it. I really enjoyed it too. I thought the way they handled this whole topic
Yeah.
was really, really fascinating.
Yeah, and the way they took the spy thriller genre and kind of flipped it on its head.
They
I guess
did.
they did the same thing with Presents.
Yeah, they did.
They took the
That's a
haunted
good
house
point.
and kind of flipped it on its head.
And
So
I
this is the same
love
thing.
How they flipped that.
I went into this thinking I'm going to get a James Bond-esque action
Right.
chase scenes. Like
Right.
that's what I was expecting, and that's not what we got here. This was
No.
this was up here, more intellectual.
It was, and we're also looking at this couple trying to suss out, is somebody lying here?
Sure. Yeah.
And is there some kind of mass deception going on here? Is this a type of Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing?
Yeah.
Which it certainly was not.
No, and that's what I was expecting when I saw the trailer.
So exactly.
I was
Me too.
pleasantly surprised.
I was as well. So questions back at you, Brian.
Yeah.
Same question.
Yeah, trust me, I asked that question knowing all too well how difficult it is for me to answer.
Okay.
Because there's this part of me that feels like this is a black and white issue. Like it's concrete, it's A or B. But,
Interesting.
there's right and there's wrong. But then the way this movie presents this issue does make me wonder. It does challenge that notion a little bit, which I loved. Again, isn't that why we do this podcast after all? Because these movies make us think. They make us look at our own lives and study ourselves.
Yeah.
With that being said, I have settled back on my initial answer.
Okay.
I do still believe this is black and white. I don't think that you can lie to someone and still be loyal to them. The very act of lying is a breach of that loyalty. Wow. Because once someone has lied and I've caught them in a lie, I can no longer trust them. And without trust, loyalty can't be present.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
From my perspective, people lie to themselves all the time.
Sure.
And it's what really messes them up in a lot of ways. And I speak from experience. Like things I don't want to admit, things I don't want to face, things I might not want to see about myself, and I won't be entirely honest with myself. Am I being disloyal to myself?
Yeah.
And
I think so.
That's why I was like, the way you're taking that is really interesting. So loyalty is in your perspective, it's like you've entered into a pact with someone.
Correct.
And lying, even if it's in the name of kindness or in the name of protecting them, is a violation of that pact. And hence the something has become null and void. The pact is null and void because loyalty has been breached, because a lie has been spoken.
Correct. And I'll give an example.
Okay.
So we talked about the haircut, right? So
Yeah.
if I come home and I got a haircut and my girlfriend says to me, yeah, it looks great. I love it. But I look like shit. Is she doing a disservice to me by not telling me that, hey, I think the hairdresser might have made a mistake.
It
doesn't
depends.
fit you. That helps me more.
I agree. Look, I think feedback is one of the greatest gifts we can give each other, quite frankly. And so to me, it also depends on, did you ask that question looking for the real answer or not? Because sometimes people ask the question and it's almost like they're begging you to lie to them.
Then they're being disloyal to themselves.
True. But then if you go along with that, in the sense of like you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you can see that they have investment in this or what have you, then it doesn't matter what your intentions were. The fact is that you didn't give it to them straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've just learned throughout my life, as a recovering pathological liar myself. Listen, I'm not, telling the truth is always the best option. I used to lie to people because I thought that I was protecting them or keeping them from some sort of harm. But in the end, those situations usually led to the person being more hurt by the fact that I lied in the first place. You know? I just learned that lesson over the course of my life, that it's always better to tell, even if it's going to hurt somebody, it's always better to tell the truth, because 10 months from now, when they realize, wait, you lied to me 10 months ago? It's going to hurt way more. Again, there's levels to it. It's tricky. Obviously, your haircut looks great is a different kind of lie than, I was out with my friends last night instead of with the woman from my...
Where did I put those $50?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and look, I part of why I bring this up is playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
I love it.
And also I want to understand where you're coming from.
Sure.
And I think I'm also a reformed, pathological, copious liar, prolific, and found that I got myself into a lot of trouble as well.
100%.
And so you realize that just being straight and upfront about things is a better way to go, because it's less stressful, and it makes your life easier. I think I'm coming to understand your perspective a little better, and also I'm trying to think of like when was the last time I told a whopper, and I'm thinking I am actually not coming up with one. That's a great thing. Which feels good.
Sure, me too.
And I understand what you say. If you find out somewhere down the line, I think it just does matter what how much gravity there is on this thing, how serious it is, because I can see in certain situations where down the road you go, okay, but wait, you said this, and being able to laugh about it.
Sure, absolutely.
But I think you're talking about things that are a little bit more meaty.
Yeah, we're talking about, two separate things here, because I also can see your perspective, and where, like, if my mom buys me a gift for Christmas and I don't like it, I'm going to say I like it, because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Right. And
I want her to feel good that she bought me a gift that I'm going to use.
Funny you say that, because like I had a shirt that my mom bought me and I didn't get rid of it because my mom gave it to me.
Sure.
And I rarely wore it. And I also felt guilty that I didn't really like it that much.
Yeah.
Oof.
Isn't
that fun? Wow.
I've gotten like watches as gifts, and I don't like them, but I will, like, when I see that person, whoever I'll wear it.
Are you being disloyal to that person?
Yeah, for sure. That seems like it. If I was loyal, I would say, listen, I'm not sure I really like this. Don't you want me to have something that I like? Their intention is, I want you to have something that you like.
For sure.
So wouldn't it be better? It hurts and it's painful.
I don't know.
It's the more difficult option.
Okay, here's what. Okay, I hear you, but here's what I think is really important in that. And this could take us down a different road, and that would be for another time, perhaps. But what's important, here's my perspective on that, is that if I get a watch as a gift that I'm not crazy about, and I tell the person, I like it, or, what have you, and I will accept it and keep it and wear it, when I see them. To me, the important thing is that I know what I'm saying, and I'm not lying to myself about that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You're consciously making the decision.
I am consciously making
let me fluff
a decision.
This.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
To me, that's what's really important, because I don't want to mess with my own mind either.
Sure, yeah, you don't want to confuse yourself. That's the last place you want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting too used to, because you and I, it sounds like have been in that position, getting too used to telling ourselves things and making it true, even though it wasn't.
Right. Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. Fascinating. But
Interesting.
also it makes me wonder about your definition of what does loyalty mean?
Well, maybe we'll get into that.
Okay. All right.
But first, let's see how Black Bag lays it out for us, shall we?
Please.
So, just a brief recap of the film before we begin. Black Bag begins with a married couple, George and Catherine, played by Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, who are both intelligence agents. George
In the
soon-
UK.
In the UK.
Yeah.
George soon finds out from his coworker Philip that someone has betrayed the agency, and he has a list of the names, one of which is George's wife Catherine. Others include his second in command James, played by Regé-Jean Page. The agency shrink, Dr. Zoe, played by Naomi Harris. Love Naomi Harris. Freddie, the alcoholic co-worker who didn't get the second in command job, played by Tom Burke, and his smart but naive girlfriend Clarissa, who also works at the agency, played by our industry favorite, Miss Marissa Abella. George then heads his own personal investigation into everyone on the list, including his own wife. And let's just say things get a little complicated. So the first scene I want to talk about is, of course, the big dinner scene. I'm calling it, let me know how you really feel while you're here.
Oh my God, that's such a good scene.
Yeah, I loved it.
Such a good
As soon as I saw this scene, I was like, I'm going to like this movie.
Oh yeah.
So as mentioned in the recap, George has the names of 5 people working for the agency who could be the betrayer. So along with his wife, who is also one of the names, he invites the other 4 to his house for dinner one night.
And gives them very short notice, and they're all wondering what the heck.
Yeah, they all meet beforehand at the bar going, what is
Right,
going on? What could this
right.
be? Why did he invite us?
Yeah.
Everybody's confused.
Yeah.
So before they arrive, he tells his wife, Catherine, to avoid the masala because it has a narcotic in it that is acting like a truth serum.
Love that.
Well, what unfolds next would be a fantastic infomercial for the effectiveness of that serum because we have some crazy confessions that all ends with a knife through somebody's hand. Everything about this is a lie. Either normal or white, whatever you want to call it. George doesn't tell his wife that she's on the list. He doesn't tell the guests that they're being drugged. And the lies that are uncovered between almost all of them. I mean, it's lies on top of lies on top of lies.
Well, and these are professional liars too.
Correct. That's what makes this so good, is that
Yes.
these people lie for a living.
Yes, and they're expected to.
And so they're probably damn good at it.
Well, it seems they are because they've been lying to each other and they didn't know that.
Yeah, the whole time, right. And
Yeah.
things start to get uncovered. I mean, we're pulling out a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
It's amazing the sheer amount of deception that can take place in one evening. To me, the funniest thing about this is the line that George delivers at one point. He goes, just flat out, I don't like liars.
Right. Right.
You don't like liars, but you are one.
A professional one.
Yeah.
But then again, we didn't see him lie in his profession. So I don't know if I should be slacking George like that.
Sure.
But that scene was so much fun. When it comes out, like I might back that scene up a few times and just rewatch it over
Yeah,
and
oh,
over.
100%.
Because to watch these people start to get a little relaxed and a little bit loopy, and they don't know they're drugged. And it's funny kind of that none of them caught on to that fact because they're also drinking wine.
True, because that's
So-
what they would say. They'd be like, I think you've had too much to drink. I
Right.
think you've had enough.
Right.
Like, they're blaming it on the alcohol, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes
well,
a couple drinks, you get things
it
loose.
can absolutely have that effect.
Yeah.
But not like that narcotic, whatever that stuff is. My goodness. Wouldn't that be fun to serve at a party?
Yeah, just see everybody start spilling their secrets.
Oh my God.
I also love, too, that Clarissa calls out her boyfriend. And it's like
Boy,
flat
did
out.
she.
It's like flat out, like, stop sleeping with her.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no context whatsoever. She
Yeah.
just turns to him and is like, stop sleeping with her.
Yeah.
And he's like,
talking about the woman across the table too.
also
Stop
the game.
sleeping with her. That woman right there.
Well, she doesn't know that at this point.
Good point. We did.
Well,
I just gave it away. Spoilers.
yeah. Spoilers a bunch. But so I also love that like the game that he has them play, like, oh, we're gonna go. It's like kind of like Thanksgiving when it's like we're gonna say something we're thankful for. Except this is like you're gonna say, what was it, a resolution for the person next to you,
Yeah, which was really interesting.
and bizarre because all of them said that too. They were like, what?
Yeah, what kind of
What kind of weird shit is this?
Yeah, exactly. And then some really passive aggressive, interesting stuff came out.
Because yeah, you're not saying anything about yourself. You're saying, oh, I'm gonna stop smoking. And you're
Right.
talking about the person.
Hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's where the I'm gonna stop sleeping with her comes
Oh,
from.
boy. Yeah, it was asking for what's the most passive aggressive thing you can say about the person next to you?
Yeah, it was brilliant. And they got
It was.
progressively worse. Like it just got worse and worse. Until finally somebody ends with
Yeah.
a steak knife
Yeah,
right
yes,
through
they
the
did.
palm of their hand.
Which we're laughing at because it was rather comedic, the steak knife through the hand.
I also love, this is not in my notes, but I just love how like the next day they're at work
All of them.
and everything's fine. And they're like,
Yeah.
they're still together, Clarissa and
Yeah.
I'm forgetting his name, the
Me
character.
too.
Tom or
He was
something like that.
funny. They were all great.
They're forgetting. He's like, oh, I want you to. I forgave her.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
You forgave the woman that stabbed you through the hand
yeah. Exactly.
with a steak knife.
And she forgave
Freddie.
you too.
Yeah, Freddie. Poor Freddie. Or
Freddie
maybe
was
not poor
great.
Freddie. He had it coming
No,
to him, I guess.
exactly. Not poor
We'll
Freddie
find
at
out
all.
later. Yeah, he had his woes.
He did.
So let's.
Go ahead.
No, what were you gonna
I
say?
was just gonna say, and Black Bag is their get out of jail card, their get out of jail free card.
That's
for
good.
Everything.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's good
everything.
reference. So that's in reference to the line of work that they're in. Sometimes, obviously, things need to be kept confidential and need to be kept secret. Well, they have this term called black bag that they use. It's like, hey, where are you going on that trip tomorrow? Black bag.
Can't tell you.
Can't tell you. It's
Yeah.
confidential.
It's like pleading
So
the fifth.
it
you
is.
know?
It is literally like a get out of jail free card. Like,
Yeah.
No matter what, you could cover up whatever you
Yeah.
want because your
Yeah.
partner's not going to
Yeah.
question. They know the line of work you're in.
And that's something. Well, actually, I don't want to get ahead of you because I'm not sure what's going to come up because that was posed of our main character, of like, don't you use the black bag as a get out of jail free card?
Sure.
And Michael Fassbender's character's like, as a matter of fact, I don't.
And I also love that
like that.
Clarissa at one point says something too about like, I can't date anybody outside of here.
That was interesting.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a choice. Like, how could you have a functional relationship with somebody who's not in this business? That's why they're all dating each other.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
sleeping and dating with each other in the office.
Right.
What kind of a whacked out place is that, man? Everybody's
very.
just sleeping with everyone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Which they are. We will find out. See her soon. But first, we got to do a bad guy break.
Yes, we do.
So, as always, 4 hints to guess this popular fictional antagonist related to our topic today of lying.
Okay.
The year that this film came out, 2014. The genre, erotic psychological thriller.
Okay.
It's a good way to put it.
Okay.
That's straight off IMDb. The setting, modern day Missouri. And the actor, Rosamund Pike. Do you have a guess there, Joe?
I know I've seen this movie and I can't think of it.
You can see her face.
Not Gone Girl.
Yes,
Oh, it is Gone Girl.
you got it.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. This is, of course, Amy Dunn from the film Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher and based on the novel by Gillian Flynn. In the film, Amy keeps secrets, deceives people, fakes her own death. I mean, totally takes lying to new heights that I didn't think was possible. Fitting for a movie about lies, don't you think?
I think it's a very fitting bad guy. Bad gal. Yeah.
Bad gal, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. We got a bad gal here.
Yeah.
And
I
boy,
like
does
it.
she do it justice.
Yeah, she really did.
She murdered that role
Rosamund
and murdered a
Pike
couple
was
people in that,
fantastic.
maybe.
Yes,
too.
she did.
Might have to see that one, huh? We might have to do that as one of our episodes at some point.
We
I love
might.
That movie.
Yeah, David Fincher.
I mean, we're going to talk about him later.
Yes, we are.
So the second scene, if we can get back to Black Bag here, get back to more liars, is the first time we see George and Catherine in bed together. And I'm going to call this one hide and seek.
Okay.
So the film will later end with the two of them in bed together again, but this time earlier in the film, George tells his wife that he would do anything for her. To which, of course, the response any person would have is...
It was just the natural question,
was
just
the
hanging
natural-
there.
yeah, exactly.
She just said it,
Yep.
but we all thought it.
We all thought, would you kill? His answer is a swift yes.
Without hesitation.
Not even a question.
Not even a question.
Not even a question. What do you think? Who do you think you're dealing with here?
Yeah, exactly.
So then she asks, would you lie? To which he replies, no. And then he poses the same question to her. And this is where the scene gets interesting.
Boy, didn't it?
Because her reply is, only if I have to. Whoa.
Yeah, because what circumstance would there be that she would have to?
Right.
We wonder.
My brain starts working. And I'm also going like, this is interesting. Here we have a married couple who, by all accounts, look to be happily married. Things seem to be going well between them. They get along. Everything seems to be peachy keen. They got no kids, right? So they got no,
Yeah, and their house reflected that. My goodness.
Somebody comes in and says, well, great house. Like, man, no kids.
Yeah. My God. Wow. I guess working for espionage agencies in the
Pays
UK
well.
really pays well.
Yeah. So here's this happily married couple, and yet the two of them don't agree on this principal aspect of their marriage. On one hand, I would never lie, and on the other, I would if I had to.
What if her having to meant that she's saving his life by not giving him information that could get him killed?
And essentially, kind of some of what happens and takes place in this film does support that.
So that was the first thing I thought when she said that. I thought perhaps she'd be doing that in his best interest.
I love that you think about the most in people. Like you're looking for the best positive outcomes. You're not skeptical at all about her intentions. You're like, I think she's saying that.
See, I just want to prove that you're never too old to be naive.
Well, it turns out you're not, because she does lie to protect him. So
Yeah.
you were right on there. But if I'm putting myself in his shoes, this would send me into an absolute tailspin.
And a really good point, because didn't we all look to his reaction?
100%.
The scene ended.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I know. We didn't really get a chance to see what the look on his face
We
was.
really didn't, because I wondered the same thing too. Like if you hear that from your wife, you go, like, isn't there a follow-up question to that?
There's going to be some questions.
And there wasn't. And if there was one, we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
That's good filmmaking.
You're right. That's a good cut. A disagreement on this fundamental of an issue would be dreadful for me. I mean, I would be in the shower later that evening, just like,
Yeah.
have I made the wrong decision in life? Should I get divorced?
Yeah.
What should happen here?
But
But
yeah.
I think for the two of them, as two spies who lie for a living, this is business as usual. They're quite literally in the business of lying.
Right. And it makes you, at least it made me think a few things about that. And that scene did have that effect on me too. But it made me think, if you're going to be in that business, you've got to be wired a certain way. You can't be someone who's naturally prone to emotional reactions, being neurotic, being immature. Like you have to have a really high level of maturity. Like the couple that found out that night at dinner that, when she just says stop sleeping with her, and he didn't deny it for a second. He just looked like, how'd you know?
Right.
And like to your point, they're at work the next day, and we decided to forgive each other and move on.
As he's got his hand taped up from getting stabbed.
Was that out of desperation or maturity or real love? We are left to speculate about that.
Yeah, because he does say, I think he says something along to George there in the hallway, walking through the office, and he does say something about nobody's ever seen me the way she sees me, and things like that. And I get it. I can understand
for sure.
feeling seen and feeling like somebody understands you, somebody gets you, but to then still deceive that person and in the highest regard possible.
Well,
do you really do you really appreciate that she?
Right. Is that showing your partner any respect? What we don't know is, did he carry on after that?
Correct.
Because that would be more to your point. I think that would be that would take deception to a whole new level.
If you got caught and then you still
Correct.
proceeded with the deception,
Correct.
yeah.
And you were asked, please stop.
Right.
And you kept going.
If somebody's willing to give you a second chance in that regard, and then you were to still...
Then
This is why people don't give second chances. I mean, quite literally.
True. Well, and then lying is like not the primary issue. There's something much deeper going on there.
Something else is going on beneath the surface
definitely.
that Freddie's got to figure out.
Wait,
Poor Freddie, man. He's going to end up with no hands. He can't work like that. So before we get into our final scenes, let's learn a little fun fact about this
I
film,
love
huh?
that, please.
About Black Bag.
Okay.
This one's a little mind-boggling for me. It's tough to wrap my head around. I was trying to decode what this meant. I was Googling it and shit. I couldn't figure it out. So the director, Steven Soderbergh, also served as cinematographer and editor on this film. Wow. But he did so under pseudonyms, one of which was his mother's name. So the editor was Mary Ann Bernard, which is his mother's name, but he edited the film. And then the cinematographer was Peter Andrews. I don't know who Peter Andrews is to him. Maybe it was his dad. I don't know. But to do the pseudonyms, I was trying to. I was like racking my brain. I was like, what would be the genuine cause for this? Is this for tax purposes? Is it just for fun? Just like little Easter eggs, like little, it's me, but it's really Mary Ann, Bernard, my now deceased mother, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what the reasoning behind using pseudonyms would be.
All right. So if you're going to speculate,
Uh-huh.
what would your speculation tell you?
I think it's if it were me, if I was doing it, it'd be like an Easter egg, like just for fun, just like a little goofy, silly little thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would that?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And also, this is a guy who Steven Soderbergh has made 2 or 3 previous films. Doesn't need a whole lot of attention. It's just like, yes, I did these things. Okay.
Because there is a question of like when the credits are rolling, Soderbergh edited, Soderbergh,
yeah, exactly.
Soderbergh.
Why didn't he star in it?
Right? Yeah, he should have done it all.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I mean, not wanting to have that, you got to list someone.
Yeah.
As the editor, but you don't want to be like overzealous, like
right, and particularly his second release in
a month. Yeah, the guy's doing enough. I mean, geez.
Yeah.
Also, so that too, because he camera opt on Presence. So he directed and camera opt on Presence. I don't know if he edited that too.
Didn't you say like the stairway scene that he was the cameraman for that? Like,
he was the cameraman for the whole film.
For the whole film. That's right.
That's what I mean. This guy talk about retirement.
Yeah.
He did the complete inverse.
Right.
He said, "Let me do all the jobs. I can't get enough."
I think you're totally right. I think I thought about the stairway scene from Presence, which was more than once, because I just thought, damn, that's backing down those stairs pretty quickly. I'm sure he had people like holding it.
Oh, yeah.
But still a really physical job, because sometimes that camera moved pretty quickly.
100%. He's wearing a rig.
Yeah, he's wearing a rig, which is not light.
No, and he's an older guy. He's not 20.
No, he's
running up and down those stairs. No. So, mad respect.
Freaking impressive.
It's hard to retire from this business. From the business of filmmaking, it's hard. Look at the Scorsese's. Look at these guys, the Clint Eastwoods. They're like 95 and they're still making films.
Exactly. And for they're still making films, but did they shoot them and did they edit them also?
Right. That's not no. The answer is no.
So I wonder how Soderbergh relaxes. Maybe by making home movies. I don't know.
Yeah, he can't get away from it no matter what. He's at home in the
and Mr. Soderbergh, if you're out there, please let us know. Leave a comment.
Yeah. If you come across this, right? Because this will just be in your stress.
Exactly. I'm sure you Google your films all the time to see what people are saying.
Right. Us. So let's get back to this brilliant movie here, right?
Please.
Black Bag. The final scene that I want to discuss is, of course, the quote unquote dinner scene at the end of the film, and I'm calling this one "The Truth Never Lies." So we find ourselves back at the very place where all of this madness began, the dinner table. Only this time, as Dr. Zoe points out, there's a new rug. Why is there a new rug? Well, you'll find out soon enough, Dr. Zoe.
She pointed that out right away.
Yeah, it was like instantly. She was like, wait, there's a new rug.
And she even said it and nobody answered her.
Yeah, everybody was too busy figuring out, why are we here? What's going on?
Yeah.
And she knew something was up, and she found out quick what that something was. So Everything comes to light in this scene. All the secrets are revealed, and the person who betrayed the agency is also revealed. What I loved most about this scene is that while this individual, the person who,
Was the mole?
betrayed the mole,
Right.
was trying to use George and Catherine's marriage to his advantage to get what he wanted, the two of them united to bring him down. The lies, deception, and trickery all failed to penetrate the marriage and the bond that these two had. And that's the very reason why I brought up this theme of maintaining loyalty while lying. Because in a way, this scene and their marriage is proof that you can. Sure, everyone at the dinner table lied to one another, but the others lied to protect themselves. And George and Catherine lied to protect each other. The two of them acted out of pure intention of protecting the person they loved. As Catherine says earlier in the film, my devotion to my marriage is my professional weakness. Brilliant.
Yeah.
This is the case to be made for, can you lie to someone and remain loyal? Well, here's proof. You can. You absolutely can. Save their lives. Both of them. Had they not, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So, in essence, this is a good old-fashioned love story.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is a good old-fashioned UK romance
Yeah, it is.
movie, pretty much.
Yeah, and I love how you brought out that point. All of this, I think, because this was a movie that made you think, but at the same time felt really human. And it was fun to watch. All of this unfold, and to see that when it came to each other, they meant it.
Absolutely. That scene where they're on the bed, it's like, what'd you do? Would you kill for me?
Yeah.
100%. I believe both of them without a shadow of a doubt.
And Clarissa, is that her?
Marissa Abella's character? Yeah.
When she's pushing Michael Fassbender's character about how he feels about his wife, and she's like, "Oh, that is so hot." When he talks about, I would do anything for her, and I will always back her up. I will always have her back.
Right.
I laughed so hard.
I
mean, it was poignant, but it was also the way it was done, and
She
her
was
reaction
like the
was
comic relief,
fantastic.
kind of.
She
She
was
was like the
She's always
naive,
good.
like younger, like maybe less knowledgeable person that works at the agency. So she provided that, like, she just says stuff. What everybody else is thinking, she would just blurt out.
True. She also, though, was saying that when asked, under the truth serum stuff, do you think you're smarter than most people? She's like, yeah, I know I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gave comic relief, but at the same time, I like that they showed her as someone who's very capable at the agency.
100%. Yeah, because she outsmarted
Yes, she did.
which was funny and hilarious.
It was.
I loved it. But she outsmarted the lie detector.
Yes.
And
she did.
I didn't mention this scene, but the scene where George comes to visit her at night at her apartment.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
It was.
I mean, the way she handled that,
Yeah.
and the way he like tried to pick her apart,
Yeah, he did.
and like with yeah, sure, Freddie's running around, but you'd like to take ecstasy and have a couple of partners, and she's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm caught.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Everybody's lying, man, and I love that George
Well,
he knows it all.
and he was making those calls about her or calling her on things. And you could tell there was, for lack of a better word, there was no judgment about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just like, hey, here are the facts. Here's what you're doing. Look, I know this. So
Correct.
I just beautifully done. Great storytelling. My Lord.
Yeah, from start to finish, this is something that
So good.
had you,
Yeah.
and it didn't let you go to the last frame.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the only thing for me is that it was short. It felt short to me.
What
I
an
mean, this is
unusual complaint, if you will.
in today's day.
Yeah.
100%. But this was an 133 minute or hour and 33 minute runtime
That went by like that.
for a spy espionage. You know what I mean?
Right,
For a spy
right.
thriller, that's like a rom-com length.
Totally.
So this, like, I felt like once it ended, I was like, oh, I want more.
I actually felt the same way.
Yeah,
I
see?
did. And
But there was nothing more to say. They told the story.
You're right. Contrary to a movie that won some Academy Awards recently that you and I talked about, that we felt ran a little long.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this was half the length.
Yeah.
Quite literally half the length.
Yeah.
So, if you like the movie Black Bag like me and Joe did, and you want to see more movies like it, here's 5 you can stream right now. Number 1, The English Patient, the 1996 film starring Ray Fiennes on Amazon Prime. Number 2, Cold War, the 2018 film starring Joanna Kulig on Amazon Prime. Number 3, The Crying Game.
Oh, wow.
1992 film starring Forrest Whitaker. You can watch it on Showtime. Allied, 2016 film starring Marion Cotillard on Paramount Plus. And number 5, of course, the classic, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005 film starring Brad Pitt. You can watch it on Hulu. So what do we learn from watching Black Bag, Joe? That if you ever find yourself the subject of a polygraph, just squeeze your you-know-what hole, and you'll probably be able to pass. But what it really teaches us is that you should be wary and selective of who you let into your close bubble of trust. That the line between lying and loyalty can be a little bit blurry sometimes. And that the reasoning behind your lie can determine whether it is a breach of loyalty or not. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, as always, you're the main character in your own life. So don't be afraid to take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture. Because sometimes the answers that you've been looking for are lying just beyond the frame. See you next time. Peace.